overwhelm.
Yeah, I know sometimes we get that feeling of feeling overwhelmed by emotions.
Especially when we're starting a new job.
Yeah.
I think when
Especially when we're starting something new, definitely.
when we start a new job, it's like there's so many things to do all at once.
Yeah.
Or even when you're starting anything new, like when you first buy a house.
Anything new. Anything, you're
new,
right, yeah.
There's so much to do. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this week's episode of
Get Real with the English Sisters.
Please do take a few moments to follow us and leave a review. We really love hearing from you.
Right, so yes, feeling overwhelmed. I know I've certainly felt overwhelmed in my life more than a few times.
Just to lighten things up a bit. Even when like you go shopping and you buy yourself a few new things.
Oh yeah.
And you don't know what to do with them.
And then you see the little bag and you think, oh, lovely, because you're so happy that you bought all that stuff. But then you like think, okay, yeah, I mean, that's not really overwhelmed, but that's it feels like, what am I supposed to, okay, right. So then you have to have a moment to put it all away.
Yeah, and what to do with it.
Definitely.
I think when you start a new job, it's there's so many new things to learn, isn't there?
Yeah, that can be very overwhelming.
Yeah, and so I think the best way to deal with it really is step by step. It sounds like obvious.
Yeah, obvious, yeah. And you wouldn't think you would, you think, oh, that's too obvious.
Yeah, but I think if you treat it day by day without getting, like, say if your boss has given you a whole load of new things to do in the next couple of weeks, and you think, I really haven't got a clue how to do these things yet. I really don't know what I'm doing, and your mind starts getting really overwhelmed. If you think about it in a different way and you think, well, in 2 weeks' time, I'm not going to be the person I am today starting this job. I'll be different because I'll have already acquired a lot of new knowledge.
Yeah, that's so true. And you can step into this other version of yourself in 2 weeks' time and, and feel what you would feel like in 2 weeks' time and think, I'm going to be okay. Yes. Looking forwards, you can see, okay, I'm going to be more competent in 2 weeks than I am today, which I'm scared and everything feels really new. And, so give yourself that time.
Yeah, imagine a confident you in 2 weeks' time having learned all the stuff you would have learned by then.
Yeah.
And go back to who you are today and think that it's not going to be me in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to be a different person.
I'm going to probably know if there are colleagues around. I'm going to know their names and I'm going to be more familiar with them.
I'm going to be integrated into the atmosphere.
Yeah, and that's going to make you feel confident. It does, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
Just
you're
meeting up.
Person.
Yeah, you're a different person.
But I think even if it not just on the first day, even in the first few months of a new job,
yeah, definitely.
It's still, loads of stuff coming at you all the time that you're not. Because the truth is that we all get into our comfort zones when we've been in a position for a while, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. Anything new can put us off our game for a bit. It can be destabilizing, and you think, gosh, it's sometimes you regret it. You say, I should have stayed, where I was, where everything was familiar and safe. Yeah. This is all new. I don't even know these people. They could, you might...
Danger, threat, you think.
Yeah, you do think that. Better to stick with the old tribe. I knew them. They were safe. Even though I might not have grown as much, but I felt safe there. And that's a challenge in life, isn't it? There's always going to be a new...
The thing is that if we get, then if you stay where you were, you feel stuck. Yeah. Whereas if you move forwards, you're moving forwards, but you can feel this sense of overwhelm.
Absolutely.
Everything you can feel so tired. So really, we recommend that you try and get as much rest as possible between your working days.
Yeah, that is true.
So don't plan anything that's really going to be really tiring.
Yeah, dinner parties or I don't know, if you're not into dinner parties, going out a lot and things like that, they're going to make you feel tired. Take the time to realize that, hey, this is a particularly, novel time for me and I'm going to take care of myself.
Yeah, take a chill pill.
Yeah.
In the evenings.
And think, no, I've had, there's a lot sort of on my plate and,
Yeah, because sometimes you can feel as if you're not up to the task. You can feel as if that's where the overwhelm kicks in even more, when you feel like as if you get that kind of imposter syndrome. What am I doing here?
Definitely.
Why I shouldn't really be in this position.
Yeah,
am I good enough? Oh my gosh. Oh my
They think I'm really
they
good,
think
but
I
I'm
know
not.
how to do it, but I don't.
I don't know how.
Got a clue.
I don't understand this program.
All these things are going through your mind, and you're seeing, but you see the people around you are confident. And I think if they're confident, there's a reason, because the truth is that you do have a lot more skills available to you than you realize, and a lot of skills that are transferable, and that you will be able to cope with that position in a few weeks' time.
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. And overwhelm can come, we've discussed how it happens at work. It can also come when you're suddenly feeling like overwhelmed with love for somebody.
Oh, yes.
And joy. So there are other good, it can, and that can also feel overwhelming though. Like you've just fallen in love and it like takes over.
Yeah, but
your
I think,
entire.
are you talking about when there's all this love bombing, when someone's coming at you?
Who?
With
You mean somebody that loves you, not love bombing. I don't know. When you feel in love, you can feel like overwhelmed.
When you feel
no,
because they say that some people that are really like
overly
enthusiastic when they first start dating, you have to watch out for them.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, I was thinking about your own feelings in this case, like how you feel. Like it could even feel overwhelming because you're not used to having your heart so open, and the feelings of vulnerability that come, along with saying "I love you" to somebody.
Well, yes,
sure, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. and you may want to withdraw. You may want to withdraw, and it's probably wise to withdraw and take a breath and think, so maybe not see the person every single day.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I do remember saying I love you for the first time, and I was feeling really overwhelmed when I said it the first time.
Yeah, you're very young though.
I was so young, but people are listeners, we have a different variety of ages listening in. And so, you can feel overwhelmed when you say it. It's like a really big deal.
Say it, but if it's truthful.
But I said it in English. I said, I love you to my now husband. I said, I love you. And then he answered me in Italian. And he said, ti voglio bene anch'io. So I'm not speaking Italian very well. I went to look up in the dictionary. And ti voglio bene means, it was translated as, I like you too. So I was devastated because I remember thinking, oh my God, he likes me. Yeah, I've just told him I love him and he says he likes me. And then when I read, obviously, I love you, it had ti amo in Italian. And so I remember just, absorbing that and just thinking, gosh, obviously I have stronger feelings for him than he has for me.
Yeah.
And I felt overwhelmed. And then I went back to him and I said, no. And then I said, io ti voglio bene. Like, it's not, I don't, I withdrew and I said, no, it's not that I love you. It's that I like you too sort of thing.
But did it mean I like you, ti voglio bene?
Well, that's what I read in the dictionary.
Yeah, but now that you know.
Literally now, knowing how it is for Italians, when they say ti voglio bene, it literally does mean, it's practically the same as saying ti amo, I love you. It's just that, he used to say ti amo is more like in the films. It wasn't like colloquial enough. It was like weird, he said, to say ti amo.
Italians didn't used to say ti amo.
Well, I don't know. He didn't. I don't know about all Italians. I just dated him, and
I think I got out of the overwhelm there because I said, I think I love you.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway, so that can also be a time when the advice that we give you for work is the same advice, when you're going into something new. So either a new job, new relationships, even sometimes having new friends can be rather overwhelming because they're doing different things and they're saying different words to you than the words that you're used to hearing. Like they have different discussions and topics of conversation.
It can be a bit much, can't it?
It
if
can
you're
be.
quite introverted as well, if you like to be on your own a lot.
Yes, that's a good point.
And if you
yeah.
absorb other people's, if you're quite empathetic and you're absorbing other people, like you're not just like thinking, oh, I'm just along here for the ride, you know, I don't really care that much about what's going on. I'm just enjoying the kind of atmosphere, have a few drinks.
Yeah,
But
and
if you get more
involved
in the
it,
whole,
yeah.
you know, the whole friend thing and trying to make friends and making a big effort, it can be very, you know, stressful for
Yeah,
you.
that's what my son was telling me. He was making a big effort to join this new group, and he was very overwhelmed by it.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can really take it out of you, actually.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, being overwhelmed is a natural part of life, basically.
Well, it's parts.
You wonder how they would do it, you know, in the olden times. They would have to, you know, especially like the wanderers, they would wander and gather and wander and gather, and you would think maybe that they weren't that overwhelmed because that was normal. Every day it was the same thing, like wandering and
Well, unless they went to new territories
yeah,
on boats and things.
yeah.
The adventurous.
That must have been very
explorers.
overwhelming as well.
They
Yeah.
probably didn't have a clue, but I think then it was more brutal in those days. You kind of thought more it was like life or death all the time.
Yeah.
I think death used to be very close to people in those days.
Probably you're right. Yes,
It
very,
wasn't
very
so far
close.
removed because
No,
it was so much,
so real all the
yeah.
time. An animal, anything could attack you. Yeah, mainly a predator. Would you know? We were just like you could get gobbled up. It wasn't like, you know, and nowadays,
more brutal.
yeah, but like even nowadays, like talking about the olden times, but like even sometimes if you just walk into a really busy city, like for somebody like me that I'm not used to it, I can feel overwhelmed by the traffic, the noise,
Definitely.
the people. There's so many people, like walking into New York or something, going to Tokyo, which is so beautiful, at the same time can be overwhelming if you're not used to it. So also travel can be.
Well, travel can you just take one day at a time.
To
as well.
one
Be
day.
careful, watch your valuables.
Yeah, definitely watch your valuables because you're always in that kind of overwhelmed state.
People can spot you as well, can't they? They can spot you that you're not a local and that you're a bit overwhelmed, you're a bit dazed out. What's going on? Especially if you've travelled to a different time zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what else would we have to say about feeling overwhelmed?
I think you just take one day at a time and just keep safe and know that you're safe. And if you're starting a new job, know that it doesn't really matter that much. You just take one day at a time. It's not things that seem really scary. They're not that scary in the end. And also a lot of stuff that maybe your boss has given you, it might even fall through at the last minute.
Yeah.
So just take a step at a time and don't get too overwhelmed and too bogged down by.
And know that
too
your
much.
employer realizes that you're new.
Exactly.
And they're obviously going to take that into account. They don't expect you to have, you know, produce 100%.
No.
They know that you're like learning. This is a new thing for you. And if they don't know, you can always say, hey, remember, I'm new here. I'm just adjusting. This is all very, you know, I'm learning. I'm new. I'm getting used to all the rhythms and how this place works.
But what about if your employer won't accept that and they just get really annoyed with you and they're not very nice?
Yeah, that's not.
And they could be mean to you, like bully you.
When you're so new.
They can say, oh, that's not good enough. You know, what are you doing?
Well, what I would say is that, you know, there you have to have your own protective shield around you. You know, I would say be prepared for that as well, because you could get people like that. And especially if you need that job and you're new in that position, don't let what they say to you, don't allow it to, you know, don't take it too personally. If you can. I know that's hard to do, really, but, you know, protect yourself. What would you say if you had that? What kind of advice would you give?
Well, I would say give it a go, but if obviously
You know,
your boss insisting on it, I'd start looking for another job, because you don't really want to be working in that kind of climate that you're always going to get bullied by your boss. You want a boss really that understands your needs, don't you?
You do, but what if you've got that job now and you need to keep it because that's your
When you need
money,
to keep
income,
it, well, then
you know.
you have to do like what you said. You
Yeah.
just put a protect, and you don't take it personally. You just think, oh well,
Your job isn't worth
it's
risking your
not
mental
you.
health for.
No.
However, if you do need to be there right now because that's your option, then yes, realize that what is coming to you in the form of these not nice words are probably a reflection of what that person is feeling. So they may be feeling fearful because they think, gosh, they're in a position, for example, think that if I've asked this person to join the team and they're not good enough, this is going to reflect badly on me. And so they're feeling insecure. They might be feeling frightened. And if you look at it from that perspective, it might help you just think they're not just big, mean old bullies. You know, they're frightened. So if you look at that person and think, oh, he or she, you know, they're frightened, that might help you feel like kind of in the same shoes because they're frightened that I'm not good enough. I'm frightened because I feel I'm not good enough yet. So we're in the same, you know, boat, as to say, and we'll learn to adjust to each other. If you can't, obviously it's not ideal to be bullied like that and to have those. But the real world can be like this. And it's not good to be too fragile either.
No, because you can take it too personally. But obviously, if it's just like this isn't good enough, and you need to do more,
better, do better, yes.
But obviously, if it gets really bad, where you really see that they're abusive, obviously you can go to HR or look.
If there is a big company and they do have HR, many small companies do not have these kind of services. They're small, they're private business companies, whatever it is. They don't have HR.
No, you have to kind of figure your way around it.
You have to figure your way around it. You have to learn to put your own shield up and begin to understand their point of view, and just think, okay, take a deep breath and think, okay, they're frightened too. I'm going to be able to cope with this. If you have to cope with it, obviously.
Yes.
And we know many of you do.
Yeah.
That's why we're saying it. Yeah.
Do have to. You can try, I think you can try and understand people a lot, and then it can be just like counterproductive, because in the end you're the one that's missing out, because you're the one that gets
we don't want
bullied.
to understand them too much and allow them to step all over us. I'm just saying at the very beginning, if you do and you need that job, and you need to put that protective layer over you, and you need to be strong, then you have to bring out that courage to
maybe then you can seek solace in your colleagues as well.
Well,
they
normally
have the same kind of treatment,
if there's 2 or 3 people,
and
even
they
if
can
it's
say, oh, don't worry, no,
yes,
they're always like that at the beginning, but they'll be okay afterwards.
Exactly.
Just ignore them.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sure, they have rants and they go on at you, but then they're fine now.
Scream and shout and then it passes. Yes,
I've been here for 5 years and it's just a nuisance, but it's fine, I get paid.
Exactly.
Just get what you can out of this.
Get what you can. You can get what you can. Exactly. Get what you can and learn from it. And then look for other options while you've got all that experience that you've learned from this other new place.
Because it does toughen you up as well.
Yes, that's what I mean. I don't want, people to... The real world isn't always, rosy. About, rosy. And if you do get someone and you say, oh, no, he or she, they are a bully, and then I'm going to leave this place, this place of employment that it might be necessary for you. So... you can identify them as that. That's why I was saying that a way of coping is to kind of understand their position.
Yes.
But then obviously you have to make sure that you stand up for your rights.
I think the best way to do everything is when you're starting something new. It's just really just to
take a breather.
Yeah. And then just take one day at a time, and know that the you that you are today is not the new you you'll be in 2 weeks. You'll be a much more competent you in 2 weeks at that same position.
Absolutely.
Or in 4 weeks,
you'll be
or in
stronger.
8 weeks. You'll know everyone. You'll be part of the team. You'll be fully immersed, and you'll probably really hopefully you'll be enjoying it
Yes.
and thriving, because you will be experiencing new things which create new neural pathways in your
Yes,
brain,
yes,
which
yeah.
expand your brain, which is good for you in the end. So
Change is as good as a rest, they used to
Yes.
say. So, you know, it is a rest for your mind in the end, even though it may be overwhelming at the beginning.
yeah, so we want to hear from you. So we're on Instagram at Get Real with the English Sisters. So come and give us a love, and come and give us some comments on what you think about our podcast, and especially this episode. And, you know, have you ever felt overwhelmed? How have you dealt with it? What's the best way you find to deal
Yeah,
with it?
what are your strategies and
Because
your
we've all
coping
got our
methods?
personal
Yeah.
experiences, haven't we, in the end? But I think when we talk about these things, we all get closer, and we all know that we all experience them, which sometimes it can be scary when we think we're the only ones in this position.
Yeah, and it helps
And
us
we've all
connect.
felt it, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we've all felt it. We all feel it all the time,
Yeah, every day.
every day.
So
yeah.
join us and come and say hi, and we'd love to hear from you. And our podcast is also on YouTube, where you can actually get the audio podcast and the video version, because we upload both. So lots of love and smiles from
The English Sisters.
Bye for now.
Bye.